Tell me about the crew bar. Oh, the crew bar. The infamous crew bar. The crew bar on the cruise ship, it's basically the main hangout meetup spot for the crew members. Sometimes you feel like it's actually the only place to go as a crew member. It's kind of, I guess you could say it's like, without getting too punny, it's like the anchor point for the crew, right? It's not only the place where people go to drink or whatever. It's also like it's where a lot of events will happen for crew. Crew parties will be there. Um, they might bring a projector in there and do like a movie night or something. Um, it's just the place for the crew. It's like the big break room for the crew. I mean, it's a cool spot. Um, the main thing about the crew bar most people would talk about would be the extremely discounted prices of drinks. For Norwegian Cruise Line, on the ships I worked on, we had one crew bar. Some of the bigger ships had two crew bars. I never worked on the bigger ships though, so all the ships I worked on had one. And Norwegian in the crew bar serves beer and wine. And we served, and the beers are about $1.25 each for a beer, domestic or import. And then we would also have bottles of wine that they would sell. They would serve the wine by the glass as well, but they'd serve bottles of wine too. And the fancy schmancy wine was like $7 at the maximum price for a full bottle, and like the house wine was $3 for a bottle. So it's like, wow, why would I buy a glass of wine when I could buy the bottle for $3, right? And we had lots of wine. We had a lot of selections of wine. We probably had about ten kinds of beers to choose from, and we probably had about 7 types of wine, white and red, and a rosé as well. So the big selling point of the crew bar would be the cheap alcohol, which is a really nice perk, you know. But you know, it's kind of one of these, you know, tug of war things where, you know, is inexpensive drinks, or is the fact that drinks are inexpensive driving crew members to drink more? Is it encouraging drinking, or is it a reward? You know, a benefit. You know, thank you for working so hard. Here's, you know, this is something we can offer you if you so choose. That's kind of how I saw it, you know, because my willpower is strong enough to where if I don't feel like drinking, I don't, you know, not a big deal. Some cruise lines have hard liquor in the crew bar. Um, I never got to experience that. Sometimes I'd be like, oh man, that sounds, I wonder how rowdy I can get if people are taking, you know, $1 for a shot of tequila or vodka or something like that. Um, but with Norwegian, actually, if you have privilege to go in passenger areas, you can actually, you know, you're allowed to drink in public areas with that privilege. And my position held that privilege. So if I was sick of beer and sick of wine, you know, or just sick of crew bar, you know, I'd dress up nice and I could go out and I could buy a whiskey, and go see a show or something. And then I think like liquor for crew, if you purchase it at a passenger bar, it's like half price than what passengers pay or something like that. So there's still a discount. And I did that because sometimes sipping a whiskey is what you want, you know. A Corona sometimes doesn't quite do it for you, you know. But crew bar's fun. It's like I said, it's kind of like the main anchor point of the social interaction for crew. And it's also just a very easy place to meet up, you know, after work, or you're walking down 995 and you see somebody and you say, hey, you going to crew bar, or CB is what people, you going to CB tonight, you know, and it should be like, what's going on, you know. So and it's funny, it's kind of like a regular bar, you know, and every day is a little different, where even though you're going to the same room, in the same bar with the same people, every night is a different vibe, depending on, like, if the next day is a sea day, more people work earlier, right? So less people will go to the crew bar, or they'll go for a shorter amount of time, or maybe they won't drink as much because they have to get up the next morning. But if the next day is like a sea day, or if the next day is a port day, who knows? It might get kind of rowdy, Or let's say your ship is in an overnight. Crewmar is like, say, oh, it's tonight, since it's overnight, we're going to go out, at 11 o'clock. Everyone who can get off the ship after work, we're going to go out to somewhere on land, but we're going to meet in crew bar, I guess, pregame, right? And so it can get kind of fun there too. It isn't just about drinking, though. The crew bar also sells maybe some snacks and stuff. So it's a fun place. It can be very, very fun. Also during the day, the crew bar is just like a break room, So as a broadcast technician, I actually, excuse me, as a broadcast technician on the cruise ship, I actually made my own schedule, right? So I was able to, I had a lot of free time, so I'd go up to the office, I would do some work, I might edit some video from the night before, check on some stuff, and then I'd take a break. I'd go down to the crew mess, I would grab a coffee, I'd go into crew bar. My first ship, we had some couches in one of the corners of crew bar, with some TVs on the wall, and I'd kick back and watch some TV. On my next ship, we didn't have couches, but we had these tall tables with chairs. So I'd sit at the table, drink my coffee, watch some TV. And it was nice because I was working a broadcast, so I was kind of in charge of what was on TV, right? I was in charge of what movies we played. I was in charge of the channels and stuff like that. So I'd be like, oh, I think maybe once or twice I may have actually gone into the broadcast control room, and I might have actually, I may have restarted a movie, just so I could go to crew bar and watch it from the start. Don't tell anybody, but yeah, it was fun, and just, it's relaxing. At night, there's different themes sometimes. Crew Enrichment, they put a calendar out every month about different events, different things they've organized for the crew every month. And one thing that they do is they have a sign-up sheet for, like, every night at crew bar. If you want to be a DJ, you can do it, right? So if you have your laptop and you have music and you want to DJ that night, you go to Crew Enrichment and you sign up for a night, and then you can be a DJ in the crew bar, and you have kind of control of the tone of the night, by music you want to play. And it was always fun, we'd have a DJ from, Mexico. They might do a Mexican music night, or you have a DJ from, I don't know, Sweden, right? When your coworker's from Sweden, he wants to DJ, he might play all Swedish music, So it was cool. My first partner from Brazil, he wanted to be a DJ, and so he would sign up as much as he could. He didn't only play Brazilian music. He was pretty good, though. He actually would kind of mold super popular, like, American music, and he'd blend it with more South American kind of music. It was really cool. It's fun, and it's funny too, because some people will actually go to crew bar if a certain DJ they know is playing. You get a reputation for playing good music, much like a real DJ in, like, a real venue, right? Like, people will go. They'll say, oh, who's DJing tonight? You say so and so, and they say, oh, no, they weren't that good last week or whatever. So there's lots of different elements too. I was actually trying to start a band on the crew, a crew band, but not involve any of the musicians who were paid musicians on the ship. I wanted to start a crew band with just crew members who also know how to play music, right? Because playing in crew bar is something you're allowed to do. You can sign up and you can. They have the musical equipment down there. They have amps and they have a drum set down there, and you can play a show. We also would have sometimes one of the lounge bands who actually were the paid musicians. They'd come down and play a night. And you have live music. It's really, really fun. So it's a good place. It brings people together. It's small and snug, and the ceiling's really low. But you know what? It's a good time. And it's fun to be around your colleagues at the end of the day, and enjoy each other's company in not a work setting. I mean, it's still kind of weird because you still live there, right? So like you're always there, but it's the atmosphere can change. You know what I mean? On all the ships that I worked on, the crew smoking area was connected to the crew bar. And for me, I guess as an American, and I don't smoke, as an American, I guess I haven't been around smoking as much. I think in America it's kind of gone down, over the decades or whatever. But in other parts of the world, what I would assume after working on ships is that smoking is still more common in other countries. So many people smoke who work on cruise ships. And so the ship provides them a place they can smoke. And it's some ships, the crew bar and the crew smoking area might actually be like outside. It might be like on aft in the back of the ship, with open windows or whatever. But on my ships, it was kind of just an enclosed room with like, fans that suck out the smoke that's connected to the crew bar. One thing I did see about the smoking room, a lot of people who are smokers will go to the bar, they'll buy a couple drinks, they'll go into the smoking room, and they won't come out. They'll stay in there the whole time they're there. And two things happen to me. One, it's pretty rough in there. So if you're not a smoker and you go into the smoking room, it's pretty rough. I mean, it's packed, it's hot. There's a lot of smoke. You're inhaling a lot of things. So that's kind of rough for a non-smoker. I think it's probably rough for smokers too. And two, I was like, there's like a bunch of people on the crew that I'm not meeting, because they're in the smoking room and I'm not. And they stay in there because they want to smoke, and I don't go in there because I don't want to smoke. You see? So there were a lot of people that I was like, man. And I remember there was one time, like a guy, one of the musicians, it was like a duo, a guy and his wife, they were playing music together. And they were young, so they were kind of my age or whatever. And they like brought some instruments and they were in the crew smoking room playing music, and I was like, man, I want to go in there and like listen. And I think I probably did go in there, and I sat there for maybe 10 minutes. And, for me, it was just like, ooh, this is rough. I can't be in here for a really long time, So that was a different experience, just kind of seeing the different people who smoke, and kind of like what they have to do. And actually that was my second ship. They had like, in the smoking room, they had like couches and stuff like this. On my third ship, and I don't know, this might have been like a company change actually. The third smoking room literally had like nothing. They had no chairs. They might have had a couple tables in there. I think they said they weren't allowed to bring glass bottles in there anymore. So like, they kind of took away that whole let's hang out in the smoking room kind of vibe, which I was fine with. Looking at it from my perspective as a non-smoker, I was like, oh, that's great. People won't spend as much time in there. They'll come out into the non-smoking area. We'll hang out more. We'll be more friendly. But then you have people who were kind of accustomed to spending most of their time in the smoking room. They were kind of, they got a little angry. Like, you took away, like, this isn't fair. Like, we should have a space that's comfortable where we can do what we want to do. I mean, I get it. You're not going to please everybody. But yeah, I mean, I felt the smoking room was a little segregatory between smokers and non-smokers. Anyway, just whatever, you talk to whoever you're around anyway. It doesn't really matter. So now I don't know the actual rules, and that was only for Norwegian, man. I don't know how other cruise lines do it. I assume all cruise lines allow crew to smoke. I mean, there's a lot of people around the world who do smoke. I don't think any cruise line has actually banned smoking. I don't think they could do that, honestly. I mean, you would have very few people from many countries around the world who would be able to work on a cruise ship, because smoking in certain countries is still it's just a thing, it's still totally acceptable, you know what I mean? I did like Crew Bar. It was, for the most part, it was fun. It's easy, it's easy just to go and see people. But I mean, your contract, 6 months or whatever, it can get kind of mundane. It can get kind of boring. It can kind of be, again, the same stuff over and over and over, and so a lot of times you might go in there. I would go in there, and just be like, it's kind of dead, maybe go to sleep. Part of me kind of was also like, because it's like in the crew area, you literally could just go to your room, put on pajamas, and roll to the crew bar. And so sometimes I'd be like, if people would try a little bit more sometimes to like dress up, put on actual like put on clothes that they would if they were to go out to a real bar on land, if they would dress up to go to crew bar, I think the vibes could be picked up a little bit more. Some people seemed a little just like, whatever kind of thing. I always tried. I never rolled into crew bar with like pajamas. I always, would change into like jeans and like a shirt, just to try a little bit, it's easy to become kind of lazy and complacent sometimes when you're just kind of living in the crew area. So I did try, when I would go out, cause I was just out, I'm going out. I'm going out. So I'm going to still try and act like I'm going out. You know what I mean? I worked with one person. Like my broadcast team was always two people. And because the ship life is so crazy sometimes, how I saw it is many people spent majority of their time in and out of work with like people they worked directly with, So like sometimes you'd see in the crew bar, the youth staff would be hanging out in a section, and the production cast would be hanging out together in a section, and the gift shop people would be hanging out all in a little group, you know what I mean? And the restaurant people and the theater techs would be in their own little section. And so it did sometimes feel, crew bar, because it's the main place people go to congregate, it can quickly become kind of segregatory. And part of me didn't feel like everyone really saw it that way. And I think the reason I saw it that way is because I didn't have a big group of work colleagues that I was friends with all the time, immediately. I think if I had worked in the youth program and I had 20 people I worked with on a daily basis, I'd have 20 best friends, and so you go to crew bar, look, I have 20 friends, this is great. But really, you have 20 work friends you met from work, so I don't want to sound bitter by any means, because all I did was just go up to people and make my own friends, But I did notice that less people were likely to really go out of their way to branch out and make friends. I mean, everybody. You are around everybody. You work with everybody in some capacity. You see everybody. You recognize everyone. But when it comes to like core groups that you spend your time outside of work with, I noticed it tended to lean toward your work friends, and so maybe that was just a little bit jealous that I didn't have like a big group that I could be the center of attention and all these best friends. I actually had to go kind of like group to group and kind of make friends, kind of thing. But that was cool because, I had a lot of friends in a lot of different departments. There's nothing wrong with that. But that is something to be wary of, So if you go into the cruise ship with a job where you work by yourself, or you have only a few people you work with, crew bar could seem maybe not as fun to some people who maybe it's kind of difficult to make friends, maybe, because it looks like everybody else has big groups of friends, and sometimes they don't seem to be looking to make more friends, So I struggle with that a little bit every once in a while. Felt pushed away just a little bit, but for the most part, it was fine. I'm comfortable with who I am, and go grab a drink and make my rounds. Not a big deal. So, Crew Bar, it's just a great place to hang out. It's a perk of working there. It's a gift they give us, discounted drinks, a place to unwind, a break room, a place to hang out, a smoking room for people who smoke. Living on a ship it's kind of like they're taking elements of land that people would maybe do and throw it on a cruise ship. But no, it's fun, and I don't badmouth the Crew Bar at all. I went there all the time. It was a really, really great time. So enjoy CB. I'll see you over there.